All right, brothers and sisters, my sobriety brothers and sisters, you are listening to Tenacious Recovery. You got to be tenacious about your recovery if you want to stay sober. My name's Vinny. I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
And I'm Sam. I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
And remember, don't forget to check out our new website and subscribe with your email at the bottom so we can send you our latest episode. Also, don't forget to reach out to us through our website or through the episode itself. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your feedback. It gives me great pleasure. Oh, by the way, our website is tenaciousrecovery.com. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my buddy Mike. I met Mike a long time ago at a car dealership, believe it or not. He's the general manager of Automotive Avenues in Sewell, New Jersey on Route 47. Give you a little plug, Mike. They'll treat you really, really well too, by the way. But other than that, gives me pleasure. This guy's got a great story. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm wonderful and blessed. Thanks for having me here. Mike, alcoholic and addict. Grateful
Good.
recovering.
Good.
Alcoholic and addict.
So, how did all this start for you? You could go back as far as you want.
Yeah. I feel like just experience, strength, and hope, what happened, what it was like, and what life's like now. I grew up right around the corner in Washington Township. It's funny, when I was driving here, I was passing some streets down there in the crossroads. Did a lot of dirt over here this way growing up. But yeah, my family and I, we grew up in Washington Township in like the late 80s. I just remember not realizing for a long time like that I grew up in a very chaotic home, right? A home that was just fueled with just like anger and abuse mentally and physically. And it was tough as a kid. But as I got a little bit older, I had two older brothers, the coolest two dudes that you would want to know, right? And it made me feel like I was a somebody, because like nobody messed with me because they all knew my brothers would like kick the shit out of them.
Sure.
And my brothers were just like really cool dudes. They were like those guys that like you wanted to be like, We're all 2 years apart. I'm the youngest of three. So my two brothers, they had like a very, very similar friend group. And I remember my parents would leave for work at 7 p.m. and they would be gone to 7 a.m. They were both night nurses.
Oh, wow.
I don't recommend that for anybody to leave their like 11, 13, and 15-year-old kids at home. But back in like the 90s and shit, it was just so much different, you know?
You got really good at eating TV dinners.
That is correct, yeah. But this is what I remember thinking was so cool. My brothers would have these hot teenage girls running around the house.
Sweet.
My brothers would have all their buddies over. They're playing cards down the basement. They're smoking cigarettes. They're smoking weed, and they're drinking beer. And me and a couple of my little neighborhood buddies, we would pick up their half-drinking beer bottles. We would steal a cigarette. We'd grab their roaches out of the ashtray, and it was like super cool, right? And everything seemed like this is what everybody did, I always joke, but it's the truth when I say like, me and my brothers were the kids that your parents did not want you to hang out with. They did not want you coming to our home. They didn't want us at yours. Every cop in this township knew us. We didn't have exactly the best name, but at a young age, I wore that as a badge of honor. Like I liked it. It made me feel good that like I had a reputation. My family had a reputation.
Sure.
So my oldest brother was born with the gift of an arm on a pitcher's mound.
Really?
Nobody taught him. He just knew how to throw. Out of the womb, a curveball, a breaker, a slider. And one of the only memories I really, truly have of my father, like showing love towards his children, was my older brother. He took a very, very serious interest in his pitching career. And he would pitch with them out back. And I could still hear the ball wisp and hit that mitt. My dad would have to wear a glove under the mitt.
Really?
Because my brother threw so hard.
Oh, he was good.
He was good. And he was like a badass, right? Like got all the chicks. I wanted to do everything that my older brother did. Everything. Now, the story turns a little bit. When my brother was like 16, I remember getting a phone call at our home. This is like back when people had house phones and shit, you know? And I heard a scream from upstairs, and my mother was very upset to find out that one of my brother's best friends had just been found overdosed dead from heroin.
What year was this?
1993.
See, that's like pre.
Right. Yeah. Like
That's like Vietnam,
yeah,
post-Vietnam
right.
heroin
This
era.
shit, like people, it's not even like a huge thing yet. Like I couldn't believe it, and we came to find out pretty quickly that my brother was involved in this, right? And my parents sent him to his first rehab, and at the time, and I think Vinny, you and I talked about it. We had this family friend. His name was Father John Stabino.
Father John, yeah.
To this day, he's a dear friend of mine, wonderful man, dedicated so much of his life to trying to help addicts and alcoholics in recovery, halfway houses, sober living, and he could get anybody to treatment. And he was like the first person that helped my brother. My brother would go to all of these faith-based rehabs, 30 days. At the time, there was this place called, which is later on a coincidence, but it was called Faith Farm, but it was in Bridgeton, New Jersey.
Okay.
And I remember
That's down there in the middle of nowhere.
down there in
I'm
the middle
sure.
of nowhere, I remember having such resentment against my brother that every Saturday on my weekend off, I had to sit in the car with my parents and drive to see him. It was our whole Saturday. From Saturday morning to late Saturday evening, we were visiting him. And this became
He was like
something-
in and out, in and
in
out,
and out, in and out. And this went on with him for a number of years.
Yeah.
And then my parents, my mom, we were like raised Italian Catholic, even though we were bad. Like my mom always made us go to church. But we started going to this Christian church in Washington Township. And my mom was like, we need this as a family for your brother. And I remember thinking like, I don't need any of this shit. Like, I don't want to do any of this. I'm not the one with the problem, right? Now, little did I know at 13 and 14, I shouldn't have been drinking like I was. Me and my friends are like drinking in the woods all the time. I never walked to the bus stop from my house without smoking a blunt. Usually there was dust in it too, right? Wet,
yeah.
they used to call it back then, right?
Smoking sherm.
Yeah, exactly. And but I'm not the one with the problem because I'm not getting locked up and I'm not in and out of rehab. And so now, fast forward a little, that house that was really cool as a kid when my parents left to go to work, it turned into the house of horrors.
Oh my
because
God.
my middle brother started following suit. There's no more hot teenage chicks running around. Nobody's playing cards. They're just smoking crack and shooting dope in the house.
Oh.
And I'm 14, and it's like a terrible environment. And it, looking back on it after going through some work over these past 8 years, almost 8 years in sobriety, I came to find out that like back then I felt like maybe abandoned. I felt like my parents weren't protecting me, especially my mother, because I'm the mama's boy. My mom will tell both of my brothers, I love Michael better than both of you.
Oh my God.
Because he's my baby.
Yeah, you're the baby. Yeah.
and
That's how
it.
that goes.
And it's funny, to this day, it's unhealthy. But if my mother were sitting here and I said, Mom, the sky's red, and both of you fine gentlemen said, no, Karen, it's blue, she would fist fight the both of you to prove that I'm right.
That's
you know?
crazy, man.
And that so I felt like this abandonment or like not protected from my parents, that they would let me go through this. Here's
It's
where
so funny because like
Yeah.
you're not alone in that. That is like
Yeah.
such a stereotypical Italian household that like the mother just enables the
is.
youngest child
Oh, yeah.
Right,
to the
right.
grave sometimes.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I
without
mean?
a
But
doubt.
like that youngest child in
Sometimes to
Italian-
the grave. That's right.
Sometimes to the grave. Like
Sometimes, yeah.
listen, like based on my line of work, and I've talked to Vinny about this a great deal of times, I always say the hardest guy to help is the youngest South Philadelphian. It's
Yeah.
true, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true, especially a man. Like, forget it if it's a woman, but like if it's a young Italian man, getting that guy to understand that they aren't the center of the universe
Yeah,
is
they're
so
very difficult.
difficult, bro.
Growing
it really
up-
is. And
Growing up, they're the prince.
it's
right,
so
yeah.
You know what I mean?
hard to get them to
Absolutely, yeah.
understand that they're not center of the universe.
That's
It's
great.
crazy.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Now, at this time, I remember drinking in my room, me, 5 of my friends, couple girls, and smoking weed. And I remember, this is where some things changed for me. My friends would be like, why do your parents not give a shit that we're up here drinking and smoking weed in the room? And my response was, I'm not smoking crack and I'm not shooting dope. So like, I'm the good one, right?
Right.
I'm the good son.
You're just
right?
you're just smoking weed and drinking.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that, I believe, is where my drinking alcoholically started. I didn't realize back then that I was the one that always drank till I got blacked out. I was the one that always was getting in trouble for fighting or getting arrested. And I got addicted to more of everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it was. If it took me out of myself, that was it. And I longed and yearned for attention in my life at all times, because something inside of me didn't love anything about me or my surroundings. And that acceptance is what made me feel like I was part of something, you know? And so I wanted to like lead the way. So I was always the guy who had every drug that people wanted to buy, always had, you know, Xanax and Percocets and Oxys and weed. I always was the plug. I always had the connections from my family, and like I was the center of everything, right? Now, I never got past the like winter break in school, right? Before they threw me out. 6th grade on, right? And I never ever had to go to school for more than like 3 hours in a day. And it was usually this night school that me and like 15 other bad kids, they would send you there. I loved it. I got to sleep in. Me and like 4 of my friends smoked weed all morning. I went to school. They didn't like make you do any work. You like got to go smoke cigarettes and shit.
Right.
And then they just pushed you along to the next grade. This would be a blessing and a curse for me.
Oh yeah.
At 17 years old, I got a job as a car salesman working for a Toyota dealership in Runnymede, New Jersey. Little did I know that it would feed into an ego that was so big already. I didn't know it at the time, but here I am. I'm awesome, right? I'm making all this money. I have a career. I'm not getting in trouble like my brothers are. And I'm still the one that's flying to other states to bail them out, going and looking for them in Camden, going and paying drug dealers to get their shit back.
Right.
You name it, right? And it's just chaos in my family at all times.
And you're successful at selling cars too, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And so my life was really good. In my early 20s, I owned my first home. I was like that one friend that like had shit that nobody else had. And but I was thinking that I was better than everybody because I wasn't getting in trouble. I never touched an opiate because of my brothers. And I watched so many people I was friends with in like 99 get hooked on oxys.
Yeah.
And that's when like
was
the
when it
wave
started,
Yeah.
yeah.
That wave of the opiate pandemic, if
That
you
was
will, or
bad.
epidemic, that's when it started. And I believe it changed the history of addiction forever. And back then, I remember being somebody who would go with my friends long, 3-4 day weekends, spring break, shit like that, Florida, Miami, Vegas, do all these cool things. But I never knew when to stop. I remember friends would say, Mike, it's been 4 days. You haven't eaten. You've been drinking Patron on the rocks. You've been sniffing Coke. You've been taking ecstasy, and you're coming down with Xanax. And I would look at them like, well, what's your problem?
Right.
Why can't you hang?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that it wasn't cool. Like there was something different about me. And I would leave my friends and I would go find people who wanted to party like me in other states, other cities, and quite a few times other countries,
Nice.
and just disappear for days at a time with people, holed up in hotel rooms. At one time, I was in a hotel room with nobody that spoke English but me. I don't know if it was the drugs and the alcohol, but we spoke the same language for 8 hours. I figured it out, right?
Oh yeah. That was a drug language.
That was a drug language indeed. And here's where my life just really changed forever. 2008, 2007. Now I'm also like addicted. Like I told you, I'm addicted to more, right? So I can't have enough steroids and human growth hormone and all these things to make me feel good on the exterior, right? And I'm in the gym one morning. I leave the gym, go home, go to work. And by the time I get to work, I am deathly ill. I'm in so much crippling pain that they don't know what to do but call 911. I can't get up off the ground, and it just hit me out of nowhere. They rush me to the hospital. They tell me in the hospital, there's no way you just started experiencing pain. Your colon is so infected. It's black.
Really?
It's 5 times the size it should be.
No.
There's
Oh my
something
God.
really wrong with you.
Wow.
And I'm like, I was lifting in the gym 3 hours ago. Like, I didn't feel any pain. I'm in the hospital for 5 days. They're telling me I have what's called a case of infectious colitis. And they're trying to get this under control, right? And on the 5th day, this doctor comes in, and I never met this guy the whole time I was there. And he comes in to tell me that they discovered I have colon cancer on my biopsy.
No.
And I'm 26 years old.
Wow.
And I don't understand it. I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever, right? You know, I'm not thinking about it. And I have to go meet with an oncologist, and they tell me that they're going to start aggressive chemotherapy and radiation. And then I'm going to have to get a pretty decent sized part of my colon removed. Make no mistake about it. The moment, and I mean the moment, that I felt the effect of an opiate for the first time at 26 years old, boom, I have arrived.
You're hooked.
Everything that I ever wanted in my life, I felt I just received it with that first dose of Dilaudid.
You got
Oh, wow.
you got
You
hugged
started
by
with
God.
the lauded.
He-
Yeah.
it's-
Well, it was a no-no for you because of your brothers,
Yeah.
right? And I have to
Yeah.
ask, at this point, what's up with your brothers?
Like today,
No. At this point in your story.
both in their addiction. Both still in their addiction at that time. Can't stop. My one brother, they would be in and out of jail 6 months, a year, 2 years, away at rehab, come home, back and forth, just absolute chaos.
Your parents always let them come back home.
Always let them come back home,
Yeah.
right? And I would resent them for that.
Yeah,
you
of
know?
course.
Sure.
And my father would yell at my mom, "You can't let them back in here. They can't come in here for what?" And then when my mom would toughen up, my dad would be like, "Oh, well, you know, I don't want them in the street." And it was just like tumultuous in
Yeah,
our
of
home,
course.
right? And I couldn't have been happier that I lived in my own house and I didn't have to deal with this shit anymore. So I thought, right? Now, here, I get the all access pass to opiates, right?
Yeah, to Dilaudid.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
That
I'm-
first time was that hug from Jesus, wasn't it?
that
Hug
is
from God, yeah.
You hit it right on the
Yeah,
head.
man.
I'm such a junkie for the rest of my life that to this day, I can feel the heat running back down the back of my neck when I talk about that story.
Yeah.
It was something that like I never felt before. And I do remember that moment saying to myself, this is why my brothers cannot stop.
Yep.
Because I used to say, what's wrong with you? Just toughen up. Quit. You know, I don't do this shit. You have a daughter, my goddaughter, you know, my niece. How could you do this to her? How could you do this to mommy and daddy? I didn't get it.
Right.
Because I wasn't suffering consequences yet. Right. No consequences in my life.
Yep.
I drink, I party, but I had this innate ability to like kind of shut it off.
And go to work.
Yeah, like Monday through like Thursday morning, I could like not be a total piece of shit, you know? But I would come home, I would drink 2 glasses of scotch on the rocks, maybe a Heineken or 2. Smoking weed wasn't like a drug to me. It was just like smoking cigarettes, you know what I
Right.
mean? And taking Xanax to go to sleep surely wasn't a problem because the doctor was giving them to
That's
me,
right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
why, you know?
It's gotta be okay.
Why would the doctor give me
Right.
something that's not good for
It's
me?
gotta
Dude,
be
that's
okay,
prime
right?
time
Yeah.
prescriptions right
It's
there.
crazy, yeah.
What, like 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it happened. This all access pass. Everybody's coddling me. Poor Michael. He's sick. I'm getting, and you could doctor hop and you could prescription hop, and nobody's the wiser back then.
Back then, no, you could do 4 or 5 doctors, no problem.
And I'm sending friends of mine. I'm literally paying them to get on airplanes, paying for their car rentals, and going the heroin highway all up and down 95 in South Florida
Yeah.
to pick up all these scripts legally. And they're coming back literally every week with thousands of Perk 30s. They can get on an airplane because their name's on the prescription
of
bottle,
course.
and nobody's the wiser. And now I'm taking 50 30s a day. I'm selling them.
Wow.
And I still can't get enough, right?
Dude, that's
50,
a
30.
lot.
That's the largest. I've listen. I've
I've
been to
heard-
treatment. I've been to treatment a gazillion times
Yeah.
where people talk out of the side of their ass
Yeah.
saying,
No, this
I
is
shot
so
10
true.
bundles a day." When
Yeah.
I talk to someone, a close person to me in my life used to do 20, 30s a day, and I used to be like, "Well, first of all, you're rich."
Yeah.
You know what
Right.
I mean?
Number
Yeah.
one, you have a lot of
First
money.
of all, you're rich.
Yeah.
Secondly, holy shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But you do
It's
50s.
To
wild.
build yourself up to 20 a day, I
Yeah.
think. I remember like I was the days I was lucky to catch like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
That was a good day. I mean,
If
I
you
didn't
could
really
afford
Yeah.
7 or 8,
I didn't
you know.
see much of a
Right.
7 or 8 day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
When I hear about a guy walking around doing 50, 30s a
Nonstop.
And
day,
still
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
work Monday to
Complete-
Friday.
That's
Yeah.
crazy,
Right.
bro.
At the time, I'm running a finance department for a really big car dealership, right? Uh, and because I had so many of them, my tolerance just went up and up and up. I couldn't put my feet on the ground to get in the shower without
Right.
sniffing 1030s just to get right
Yep,
in the
I
morning.
got you.
And it was crazy.
Yeah.
And here's where some things in my life took a turn. I met a woman at the time. She had a 6-year-old daughter. I love this kid so much. The kid was wonderful. And me and her mother, we started a friendship, if you will, that turned into a relationship, and we wound up getting pregnant. Now, I'm a junkie and I'm an alcoholic, but I still have this like Italian Catholic bravado, right? That
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I need to marry her.
Right.
Of course.
And that's what I did. And I took her and my beautiful stepdaughter complete and total hostage.
Wow.
And my daughter that was born in 2012, what I put them through.
I'm sure.
I remember when my daughter was born, I met my dope man in the parking lot of Virtua and Voorhees.
Really?
Wow.
In the hospital?
In the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. I won't mention his name, obviously,
Right, of
but
course.
he drove a delivery truck that's big and brown, right?
Oh,
Pulled
boy.
up to the hospital, gave me my stuff, and I ran back inside, right? And this happened 3 more times over the next 3 days that we were there.
Wow.
And that's how I lived my life for a really long time. So some things changed in 2014. I had lost the power of choice, right? I am a full-blown junkie. I can't stop. And at this time, I wasn't using heroin. I was just taking 30s and oxys and a bunch of like heavy opiates.
You still had the money for it. That's why.
And it was getting worse though.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The doctors weren't giving them to me as much. Things weren't working out as much. All the people I was sending to Florida are complete junkies
Yeah.
at this point. Like the world had turned, man.
Oh,
It
by
was
that
like,
time, the pill mills are
Yeah.
starting to fall too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
they're not-
they were starting
Yeah.
to put the hammer down.
2014ish time,
Yeah,
like it's
right.
not that doable.
They started
anymore.
putting the hammer down at that time. Yeah.
And I'm at work one day.
You still
and
haven't moved on to a bag of dope?
not yet. And at this
I can
point,
tell you, I'm sorry. I hate
Yeah.
to spoil the ending of the story. But I've heard it a few times before, so I apologize.
no,
But
you're good.
no, I think it's
No,
impressive.
I was so stigmatized by shooting heroin and heroin, like the word, because what it did to my family. And I'm such a sick maniac that I think that I'm better than everybody. It's
the Italian
because
ego. Yeah.
I am not using dope, right? So one day I'm at work, ton of undesirables in the place that I worked at. Bunch of alcoholics, addicts, loan sharks, bookies, you name it.
At the
This
car
is where-
dealership?
Not the one I work at now.
Oh,
but-
no, I don't
yeah,
mean that.
But yeah, listen,
Really? Oh, wow.
you know, you show me a guy that just got out of jail or has an addiction, I'll tell you he's probably one of the best sales guys that you'll have. on your
Oh,
floor.
my God. Yeah, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And one day, me and like 4 guys that worked there, nothing was lining up. One of us either always had a script, or if like, we couldn't get something, somebody always had Suboxone or methadone, or somebody always had something to ease the pain throughout the day.
Dude, I can't imagine what the floor of a car
Oh,
dealership was
my
like circa
God.
like
It was
2014 to 2016.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute shit show.
Yeah.
Man. And I remember getting real sick, and I'm running a finance department at a very, very high pace, high volume dealership in South Jersey, and I'm sick. And I remember this guy, his name was John, and he said, "Yo, just sniff this bag." And I looked at him and I went, "Dude, I'm not doing heroin." And I'll never forget it. Pardon my language. He said, Mike, you're the biggest fucking junkie I know.
Wow.
He said, dude, you do like 50 30s a day. Like, you think you're better than me, cuz? That's his exact words.
Wow.
And I don't know if he was such a good salesman or I was so sick, but he had convinced me
That's
really
funny.
quick.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
here I am. The first time I felt that feeling again, I have arrived.
Heck yeah.
Here's that feeling. And I just sniffed a bag of dope for the first time. And it all, like Rain Man, right? The numbers are all moving around my head. I can do more. It's less money. It's more effective. I just figured out, the cure for cancer at the time.
Right, exactly.
That's how I felt, right?
Sure.
And here, you go 2 weeks later, I'm a full-fledged heroin addict, and I'm the plug too. Now I'm getting dope from a guy in Camden. I'm selling, I'm getting 3 bundles a day. I'm doing one of them, and I'm selling the other 2 to fund my habit, right? And it's getting bad.
It was actually getting bad like 2 years prior.
It
but
was getting
with
bad.
heroin,
Yeah, it was getting bad
I
a
can
long
see it
time
going
ago.
to the next level. Yeah.
I do know what you mean, though. I always told, I did cocaine every day for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And then the first time I smoked crack, everything changed really fast, dude.
Yeah,
it got really,
it's
really ugly
nuts.
really quick. Yeah.
And, at the time, I'm not really suffering consequences. And like, my bills are paid. I live in a nice house. My wife at the time is driving a nice car. I'm driving a free company car. My 2 kids look like they have everything, right? And on paper, it looked like I was still doing okay. But that changed quickly. I vowed to never stick a needle in my arm. That changed. And it just got really bad. And at the time, I was going to this church in Washington Township right here, and I confided in the pastor, who also was in recovery, and he said, listen, I could get you help. Do you want to go get help? I said, I do, man. I'm going to die. And I remember within a day, I was scheduled to go to this place in Whiting, New Jersey called America's Keswick Colony of Mercy.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Faith-based Christian
Yeah.
rehab.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that I'm going. My wife at the time, on the other hand, was not happy that I was leaving her and the kids to fend for themselves. And that relationship broke at that moment. I remember going to this place, and the first 5 minutes I was there, I'm going through intake, and the one guy told me, now listen, I'm no stranger to this place. We could have opened a wing, my family here.
Right.
Both of my brothers had been here like 5
my
times
God.
apiece, right? And it was a beautiful facility, and it did have you felt the presence of God when you were there. It was
I think I've heard of it.
very
yeah.
beautiful place. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about the place, because I still have a lot of love for what they do to this day, right? Anything that involves God and helping people at minimal to no cost, you just come and we're going to try to straighten you out, I respect.
Yeah.
But during my intake, the one tech says to me, and it's not even a tech, another place, no detox, no clinical, you work every day, this is it.
Right.
So he said, you're not an alcoholic and you're not an addict. You're a child of God, and you have been saved by the blood of Jesus Christ.
Right.
And in my head, I went, fucking awesome, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You gave me the entire solution to me in the first 5 minutes. I'm required to do no work.
Right.
No work at all. Right? So here we go. I could recite Bible verses. I could tell you how to live your life right through Jesus Christ and being a child of God. But what I found out quickly was I got no solution to me and what was going on inside of me. I always joke, but I'm serious when I say it. Sunday to Sunday is a long week, brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would be that guy that I would raise my hands in church, cry out to God. If you hooked me up to a lie detector test at that moment, I was never going to use a drug again. But by the time I got to my car, my dope man was on the phone.
Right.
That was the reality of it.
Sure.
So I get out of this place, no solution to me. And at the time, my wife had divorced me. I have to work to get custody of my daughter back. My other daughter, who I'll never refer to her as my stepdaughter, she's my kid.
Mm-hmm.
She knows she's my kid. I raised that little girl from the time she was 6. We have a beautiful relationship today.
Good,
You know,
good.
she's 23 years old, thriving in life.
Good.
Wonderful child, right? And I remember like wanting to still be a guy that was like a family guy. Like, I was so resentful that my wife had left me. And like I was very hurt that she left me. But what it did for me was I was going to do everything in my power to show her how stupid she was for leaving me.
Wow.
And I was going to show my daughter that daddy's awesome. I don't care what your
And
grandmother
mommy's not.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I don't care
Mommy's
what
evil.
I don't
Right.
care what your grandmother's saying
Right,
about me. I don't
right.
care what your mother's saying about me. I don't care what the world's saying about me. I'm going to show you how great I am. And I did what I always do. I got right back into fixing my problems with financial gain, and I got a job selling solar. And to me, it was the way out of getting away from the bad car business that has so many drugs and alcoholics in it. Little did I know, immediately I would start committing fraud, literally on a daily basis.
Wow.
While selling solar to customers. It was 100% fraudulent what we were doing.
That was
back
like
then.
the Wild West
It
of
was.
solar.
How does that? Oh, what? Just knocking doors,
2016.
right?
2016, it was like you could have had. My daughter was in 5th grade at the time and could have made 6 figures doing it, right?
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
it was just super easy. But now I'm going to fix my life with material. And this is what I did. I bought this house that was so big and fancy that I could hardly afford, but I was going to show my daughter how, look, we got a pool. Look at this beautiful house. I went out and bought $30,000 of furniture all on credit. I'm now driving an $80,000 BMW because all this stuff makes me feel good about me.
Of course.
But at night, when that little girl went to sleep, I would sit there with a handgun and I would put it in my mouth because I was so broken and so hopeless and felt so alone without a drink or a drug for almost 2 years.
Wow.
No substance, right? But I want to die because nothing is filling this void. I do everything with, gambling, not just gambling like on sports, like gambling in the casino, just an absolute degenerate. I'm doing it all over again with, I'm claiming I'm a Christian and I'm claiming that I'm a godly man, but I'm coming to your house to beat you up if you owe me money. And I'm selling growth hormone, right, from China that I'm getting shipped to my house.
Oh my
and I'm
God.
selling illegal handguns, right? And like,
Wow.
I'm a maniac, right? And I can't stop this sickness in my head from making me do these bad things daily because I didn't know why I was feeling this way. This is where things change forever, guys. In like May of 2018, I met a woman. She made me feel like she cared about me. She was an attractive woman. And I started that relationship to 100% piss off my ex-wife.
Right.
Oh my God.
Because at the time, my ex-wife had been dating already, and we had a great relationship. We were like a family. We went to Disney together as friends. As a matter of fact, her and my daughters lived with me. We drove to our divorce together.
Oh my
We
God.
became so amicable and such good friends.
That's a good thing, though,
It
when you
was
think
the
about
best.
it.
It
Yeah.
was the best thing. And I meet this woman, and I'm so sick that I feel like it's a great idea to introduce them at our child's 6th birthday party.
Wow.
Terrible idea. I don't recommend it for anybody.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of what happened, but it ended with us being in restraining orders against each other. People got
Who,
arrested.
you and your ex-wife?
Me, my ex-wife, the woman I was dating at the time, family members. It got crazy
Wow.
At this birthday
at this
party.
event. Right. It was so bad and so ugly. And one of the most shameful things I've ever done. My daughter watched her mom and her dad's girlfriend arguing, screaming, hitting each other, me grabbing my ex-wife, pushing her, people fighting, and my daughter's crying.
Oh.
And I did that. Nobody else did that. That's
That's a regret,
all
brother.
me.
Yep.
And one of my most unproud moments in my life. And at the time, I still think that there's nothing wrong with me. And I go to court.
And at that time,
Yeah.
let me stop you for a second. You're still drug and alcohol free.
Still drug and alcohol
You're not
free.
sober.
He's dry. Yeah.
You're dry.
Dry, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
As dry
I
as
got
it comes.
I
Yeah.
would later find out that term, and I now understand it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Then I was a victim. Everybody else was wrong. Why can't everybody just realize how awesome I am? I'm not drinking or drugging.
Of course.
My bill. Look at this house I have. Look at all this cool shit I have. On the outside, I'm showing everybody on paper I look good. The inside, I am. It's
You're
bad.
a mess, man.
It's like the Walking Dead in here, right?
Yeah.
Zombies and just evil shit going on. I go to court. They come to tell me that I'm not losing custody, but I can't see my daughter for 90 days because Child Protective Services is involved.
Yeah.
And walking out of Camden, Memorial Day weekend, right before Memorial Day weekend, my mother came to court with me.
That was where the court was.
Yeah, for
Camden.
a restraining order court.
Gotcha.
And my mom looked at me as her third alcoholic and drug addict son. And she said with pain in her eyes, Michael, please just go home. Everything's going to be okay. Like, just pray. Everything's going to be okay. And I looked at my mom and I just said, Mom, I love you. And I left. And I knew that people were dying in Camden. Fentanyl was everywhere.
Yeah.
So the next best thing I could think to do was to get in my car and drive to Kensington and Allegheny. 2.5 years of not picking up a drink or a drug, not one single substance besides cigarettes, right? And maybe too many energy drinks on a daily basis. They didn't want to sell me drugs. Here I am, my weight's up, right? It's, warm out. My tan looks good. I'm driving an $80,000 car around.
Why didn't they want to sell you?
They thought I was a cop.
Oh, okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, like I didn't look
Right.
like I was copping drugs.
Yeah, I got you.
In Camden.
Yeah, right. And Kensington.
Oh, you're down the way
Kensington,
now.
yeah.
Sorry.
K&A.
And I remember seeing this little white kid, no shirt on, panhandling, walking under the L. And I pulled up and I said, yo, get in my car. I'll buy your shit. You go cop my dope. And this kid was like, great,
He thought you were God. Yeah.
I got to see the candy first before I get in the van, bro.
And he hopped right in.
I hear you.
Yeah, I said,
I hear
here's
you.
$20. Go do whatever you want with it. Bring me back a bundle, cuz this is what I said to this kid. And I remember he gets back in my car and he looked at me. Here's a junkie, right? He said, dude, have you done this before? And I said, I haven't used in a number of years. And he goes, bro, this shit'll kill you.
Too strong.
He's like,
Yeah.
listen, man. Like, he's pleading with me. Kid, I don't know, right?
Right.
Dude, just
Sent
do
by-
a little bit.
Sent by God.
Yeah, dude, just do a little bit, right? From Memorial Day weekend 2018 to September 24th, 2018, what occurred in my life is it's crazy. It is like a horror movie of what occurred in my life. I'm now living in Kensington.
Oh, you moved down the way?
I'm renting my car out
Yeah.
to drug dealers, and
Oh
I'm
my
staying
God.
there all day long. And my home is in foreclosure. My car's out for repossession. I got warrants out for my arrest, driving on suspended licenses, no electric in my home. My parents won't speak to me. My father told me, Michael, just kill yourself.
Oh my God.
He said, what you've done to me and your mother, you'd be better off dead. Now, he used to say this shit to my brothers. He used to tell me the same thing about my brothers, but like it hurt when he said it.
Of course.
And my mother, who I told you earlier, was like, she will kill people for me. She said, please don't call me, Michael. All I can do is pray for you, son.
Yeah.
And both of my brothers, these two MFers, right? I'm so mad at them because they won't pick up my calls. They
How
won't
are they
help
doing
me.
now?
One is clean and sober at the time, and the other one, but actually at the time they were both sober, right? One was living in Maine, one was living right here in Washington Township, and they wouldn't help me. And I'm like, the nerve, the shit
Right.
that I've done for you two. How could you not help me? And little did I know that like they just knew I wasn't ready. They had done it before, and like nothing that they did for me was going to change me. And I didn't understand that at the time. But this woman that I'm dating that doesn't owe me anything is like letting me come to her house and shower. And I had overdosed 2 times in the same day and was revived by the same EMT.
No way.
How about that?
And I remember the guy saying to me, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, I remember this guy's face clear as day. And I'm in and out of Salem County Jail, 4 days, 5 days, turtle suit, kicking dope. Awful, right? And I get out and I go right back to it. I remember my mother picked me up from Salem County Jail. I said, Mom, you got to give me $100. If I don't get Suboxone, I'm going to use. Okay. Drives me to my house. I get my car that's in my home in foreclosure with no electric. I have to manually raise my garage door to get my car out. And I tell her I'm going to get Suboxone and I'll be right back.
2 weeks.
That's not what
later,
happened.
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
A week later.
That's not what happened. And one day I get a phone call from this guy. I can use his name. He'd be happy if I did. His name's Paul Travarello, and he runs this place called Arise Men's Recovery in Machias, Maine, which is as North Maine as you can ever go. And he and I met through
What
my
was it, a
brother's
recovery
addiction.
house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ministry.
Oh.
And this guy met me and my family through my older brother's addiction. And he and my brother over the years stayed in contact. He lived in Mantua and he was in and out for a long time. And he had went to Maine for like his 100th time for treatment. And he got sober and they asked him to open another facility like 8 miles north. And he said, God called me to do this. And he did. At the time, he had my brother, my oldest brother, down there, living there, because he had been so bad in his addiction for so long that he went there. I was sober at the time. I drove him to Maine, literally like almost dying. My brother has been shot and lived. He had 2 open heart surgeries and lived and just used through all of it, man. You know?
Wow.
So this guy saved my brother's life at the time. He calls me and said, I just got a phone call from your girlfriend. Mike, I don't want you to die. Do you want to get help? And I just said, yeah. And he's like, listen, answer your phone. This guy Wayne's going to call you in a couple minutes. I pick up the phone. Hey, brother Mike, this is Wayne. Paul, he told me to give you a call. We're going to do your intake. It's this place in West Palm Beach. I don't know anything about it, though. Doesn't even say the name. I said, okay. He said, can you get on an airplane? I said, physically, but not financially. A friend of mine from the church I was going to paid for a ticket for me.
Cool.
I remember telling this woman that I'm dating, I'm not getting on this plane without getting right. I need you to take me to Kensington on the way to the airport. And she said, yeah, but you don't have any money. And I said, yeah, but you do. So let's go. Because I'm such a selfish, awful human being in my addiction. I don't care that this woman who doesn't know anything about addiction, who's driving a beautiful BMW, who's a successful real estate agent, who's a successful person in the automobile industry, who's a respected person, I don't care about bringing her to the worst corner in America.
Right.
Why I go cop in a trap house.
Right.
And I remember that morning, I'm in this trap house getting my fentanyl. And these guys are standing there and they're smoking crack. And I remember thinking to myself, what a bunch of fucking losers. Smoking crack? It's like 7 a.m. This is how sick I am.
And you're getting
I'm
fentanyl.
getting fentanyl.
Right.
This is how crazy I am, right? I'm a damaged person, man, without a solution to me, right? And I didn't have one up until this point. I get like highly emotional when I tell this story, but this is just where my life changed forever. On September 24th, 2018, I boarded Spirit Airlines to go to Fort Lauderdale Airport. As I'm walking down the aisle where you put your bags up, my head is touching my ankles. I'm doing the Kensington yoga.
Really?
Yeah.
The wobble.
You're doing the fentanyl flop?
He's doing
I'm doing
nod,
the fentanyl
dude.
flop.
Wow.
And everybody's looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy? Now, I was like 240 pounds. Like before I relapsed, I was like 170 pounds, emaciated junkie.
Wow.
Not eating,
You lost
not
that in
sleeping.
3 months.
It's just a nightmare what I was going through. And the stewardess sits me down.
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant. Yeah, that's it. Says, don't move until this plane lands. Do you understand me? And I went, yeah. I get up 2 minutes later. I go to the bathroom, fall out in the bathroom. They have to break the door down to get me out. Now they're ripping me off of the airplane and I'm screaming, you can't do this. I'm going to rehab. There's a bed waiting. I'm screaming as they're taking me off the plane, taking me back into the terminal, and I'm screaming. And I remember this little black woman, couldn't be more than 4'8", Spirit Airlines uniform, comes over and said, sir, you're removed from the airplane and my friends from security are coming to get you. And I look at her, and in my head, what I thought was, okay, I'm going to get back to my house in Slickerville, steal my own car again, and I'm just going to go right back. I'm going to be one of them people, and I'm okay with it. I was fine with it. That was my solution. They define a miracle as an act of God. And what happened in the next couple hours was strictly God doing something for me that I would never have been able to do for myself. A stranger taps me on the shoulder. God bless you.
Thank you.
And he says to me, can I talk to you for a moment?
Where you're still in the airport?
Still in the airport.
Oh,
Still
okay.
PHL.
Still standing here. And he says, listen, I've been thrown off a few airplanes before. I'm 13 years sober. I heard what's going on. If I can somehow get you to where you need to go, are you ready to change your life today?
No.
And I look at this guy and I'm like, yeah, man, like all nodding out and shit, all banged up. And he walks over to the lady at Spirit Airlines who just told me I'm removed from the airport. And they're talking and I see security coming.
Uh-oh.
And she waves and she like waves them over to her. I don't know what's going on. Now, keep in mind, I don't have 2 nickels to rub together.
Right.
I don't have a cell phone. I got nothing. Like
You were
when
homeless in the airport at that
I am
point.
down bad, right? Like
Right.
I got nothing. I don't even have my bags, right? Everything that I own is in the air going to Fort Lauderdale, right? In a yellow duffel bag.
Right.
This woman walks over. The guy's with her. Security's walking with her. She grabs my hand and she says, this gentleman just bought you a ticket. Security is going to escort you to American Airlines. They're going to sit with you and they're going to escort you onto the airplane. Please do not act up or do anything wrong. And I looked at her and she's crying. And she said, can I pray for you? She's still holding my hand. I feel somebody else grab my other hand. Security guard. And now they're all grabbing hands. So it's me, 3 security guards, this woman I don't know, and this guy I don't know, all holding hands in the middle of the terminal.
Oh my
right?
God.
What?
And she starts praying. And this guy says to me, you never have to feel this way again if you don't want to. I never heard this before. But here I get on the airplane. I'm feared up. I'm late. They're not going to let me in. This guy who I don't know and I can't get a hold of is picking me up at the Fort Lauderdale airport. What am I going to do? But here I am. I land. I'm coming down the escalator for baggage claim. And I see this guy standing there and he looks at me and goes, you must be Mike. And I said, are you Wayne? And
That's pretty awesome.
He said, yeah. I said, how'd you know I was here? He said, well, I was here 4 hours ago.
Right.
You're not the first guy I picked up to go to rehab.
Right.
We get in his car. He looks at me. He said, I know your brother, Robert. I said, really? He said, yeah, we were all in America's Keswick, me, him, and Paul. That's how we know each other. I said, wow. He said, listen, brother, I used to own all the Philadelphia Flyer and Phantom skate zones, and I lost everything to crack cocaine.
Oh my God.
I couldn't get my life right. I came here, and I got sober, and now I work for Daryl Strawberry's recovery ministry.
Sweet. He does a lot of great work.
Tons of great work. And I love his story. I'm a sports nut, right? I love his story. You know, the guy will proceed to tell you that like he couldn't even make it to the World Series parade, like holed up with prostitutes and
Right.
smoking crack, right?
Right.
You know, on the biggest, like the most prestigious honor you could get playing baseball.
That's what you play for.
Yeah, right. And we get to this place and the guy at intake said, we can't take him. And the guy said, listen, this dude's going to die. If you don't let him in, he's going to die.
Why couldn't they take you?
Because I was like 5 hours late at this point.
Oh,
and it
wow.
was
Oh, they
nighttime.
might have given your bed away.
They only do intake from like 9 in the morning
To
like
9:30.
to like no, to like 4 o'clock apparently.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So the guy looks at me and he's like, all right, listen, man, I'm going to help you out. Follow me. And the guy, Wayne, looks at me. He said, hey, Mike, I love you. And so does Jesus. And he turned and walked away. The director says to me, he holds up the Bible and he said, this is all we have to offer you here. And I went, oh, shit, not this again, right? Like, this is what I thought
Right.
was going to happen. He said, look, man, we have food, we have shelter. There's a chapel that you get to go to once a week, but you work here. If you're dope sick and you can't cut it, if you got the DTs and you can't cut it, you're gone, right? He said, listen, man,
Wow.
there's no slippers, there's no group therapy. Like you work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have a gym here, and you keep your nose clean. I'm like, all right. They walk me back to this dorm. It smells like such shit. It's 120 degrees, no AC.
Oh, my God.
September in Florida. I'm so deathly ill.
You cold turkeyed off fentanyl.
Dude, so
Wow.
this guy walks out and he said, yo, Philly, because I had a Phillies hat on. And he said, take that hat off. Can't wear that in the dorm. He said, listen, man, I hope we don't have a problem. My name's Clarence. I run the dorm. I work here. Couple rules. You ready for him, Philly? And I said, yeah. He goes, when I talk, you listen. And also, what I say, you listen. I said, all right. Yeah, like I get it. So I look at this guy. I said, Clarence, man, I need some help. Can I please take a shower, man? I'm hurting. And he said, no, man, you can't. You can shower at 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., or you can shower from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. after your workday or before your workday. That's it. And I start crying. I'm 36 at the time, and I'm crying like a child. There's 100 men in this dorm, bunk beds stacked on bunk beds, right? Guys are walking up to me, putting their arms on my shoulder. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I think this guy just was like, yo, you look like a real bitch right now. Like, let me try to help you out. He said, come with me. So he lets me take a shower. I get out of the shower, and I don't know if I had seen what I looked like in a really long time, but at that moment, I saw myself in the mirror.
130 pounds or whatever.
170 pounds.
Oh, 170.
Gross.
White
Yeah.
as they come, probably. Yeah.
And I just lost it. And I just said, like, how the fuck did this happen? Like,
Right.
how is this my life right now? Like, it hits me. My daughter's gone. My home's gone. My car's gone. Everything that I ever had is gone. I'm 36. Like, I just want to die. Like, I don't want this pain anymore. And I climb up onto this metal bunk bed. Very humbling, by the way, at 36 to climb a bunk bed. And I remember laying there, and maybe it's the first real prayer I ever said, or maybe God just knew I meant it. But I simply said, God, if you help me not be sick, I will never turn my back on you again. I wake up, there's a bell ringing and these bright lights, like a hospital room, right? And it's like, everybody up, make your bed. And it's the house guy, Clarence. And I'm like, I kind of feel okay, you know? And I get down from this bunk bed and I go to breakfast and like, let me try to eat a bowl of cereal. And I eat. And then I eat another bowl of cereal. And I'm not sick, guys.
The next day.
I'm not sick, you know?
Wow.
And that's just my life changed. Like in that moment,
How about that?
like I just knew that from that point, and I don't know how to explain it other than like I would come to learn was like the first spiritual awakening that I would have in my life. And things changed for me that day. Like something told me that like I need to follow rules, like which is something I never did. And like I need to be different than, because if I can't follow rules in this place or get my shit together here, I got no chance
It's
with
over.
this mountain I got to climb
Yeah.
up when I get home. So one day, this guy, 2 days there, this guy says to me, yo, you're the dude from Philly. I'm like, no, I'm from Jersey. Everybody called me Philly because I had a Phillies hat on. And he's like, yo, my name's Rob Green, man. I used to smoke crack in Camden, and I've been out here for 10 years. I came here, and now I work here. He goes, where are you at? What work crew? I said, landscaping, 150-acre farm. You're on a push mower all day, right?
Oh, my God.
Me and like 10 other guys,
Wow.
right? It was peaceful, though. I got to
Yeah,
tell
that's
you.
cool.
Never mowed a lawn a day of my life until
Right.
36 years old. And, man, I loved it. It was great.
Cool.
It was good for you.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And he said, yo, I'm going to look you out. You're going to work up here on the docks with me. I said, all right, cool. Little did I know I was going to be like carrying heavy furniture all day.
Oh my God.
But
So
it
you
was
were getting in
cool.
shape, yeah.
It was. And he would play like music up there, right? And it was like Christian music, but it was like it meant something to me at the time because I'm hearing like God and I'm hearing all these things and I'm watching men like look different than I'm used to. And one day, because they're a ministry, this donation truck comes in and we're unloading boxes. And he throws this book at me and he said, yo, Philly, it's a good read. And I look at it and it's red and yellow, cursive handwriting, original edition, republished 1939.
The new one. Yeah, I know what
Really?
you're talking about.
And I had never, ever known about this program. I mean, you hear of it, right? This fellowship, but I don't read, guys. I have like a formal 6th grade education, right? And when I do read, I don't understand what I just read.
Especially reading that book, dude.
yeah.
But man, I think God just like gave me eyes to see. I could understand what this doctor was talking about. Like something clicked. And I could understand what this guy was telling in his story in the first chapter.
Yeah.
What I could identify with was the progression, right? The pain and the progression. And I complete this program. After 90 days, I leave. I come home and I got nowhere to go. My parents said that they would let me stay there for one night. The girl I was dating, I couldn't live with her. And I was going to go to Father John Stabino's men's group. He had told me before I went away, I'll put you up in my South Philly house, right? Now, I went to this men's group 100 times in my 2.5 years clean. You sit down in a church basement, bunch of maniacs like me, all just talking, no spiritual solution. And that's not a knock at him. He knows I love him. He's a dear friend of mine. But you're not going through the steps. You're not going through anything that's making you live a principled life. So I show up. I get dropped off by my father, mind you, on a Thursday night, St. Charles Borromeo.
Yeah. I know the group.
And nobody shows up. Nobody's there. I see a white pickup truck drive up, walk into the school building across the parking lot. So I'm like, let me see if it's cold. It's December 18th. It's cold. And I said, let me see if this guy will let me use his phone. Walk over. He looks at me. He said, hey, man, are you here for the meeting? And I said, nah, man, I just wanted to see if I could use your phone. And he's like, what are you doing here? Like, how'd you get here? And I said, well, I got dropped off. I was going to go to Father. He said, Father John, they don't meet here anymore. Last week was their last week. They meet over in South Philly. Now, I can't get anywhere in Washington Township
You
right
don't
now,
even
let
have a
alone
car.
South Philly.
Your
I don't have
father
a
dropped
car.
you off and
Right.
left.
My father dropped me. He said, get the fuck out of my truck. Hates me. Doesn't want to see me again. I'm not allowed to go back to their house. I got nowhere to go. And this guy,
You stumbled into one.
he looked at me and he said, why don't you give it 90 days? And if you're not convinced, we'll gladly refund your misery. That was the first meeting I ever went to.
You stumbled into one.
Stumbled into. You want to talk about God doing for
Brother,
me
the
what I
whole
could
last
not
chunk of your
do
story.
for myself, right? And that man, first man I ever met in that fellowship, he's still my sponsor today. And
That
trust
guy
me,
in the
that
white pickup
guy,
truck?
The guy in the
that
pickup
white
truck.
pickup truck guy.
Wow.
And he knows he's still my sponsor today. One of my closest friends.
Wow.
And they invited me back the next night. And what I can tell you
So
is,
he took you to the meeting in South Philly?
no.
That he walked into a meeting accidentally
Oh,
looking
that
for
was-
Father
So
John's
in the
men's
school
group.
building, they would have meetings there.
Oh.
On Friday nights, there would be 2 different fellowships there. But
Gotcha.
on Thursday night, there'd be 1 fellowship there for a beginner's meeting.
Oh.
And I can tell you this much. I can't tell you everything that was said in that meeting, but what I did come to realize quickly was these fucking people care about me, man.
And this is where I'm supposed to be.
This is where I'm supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And like something just changed in me. And like if they told me to stand on my head in the corner with my thumb in my mouth all meeting, I would have done it. Because these people are like happy. And like I can identify with them, right? Guys that are engineers and electricians and guys that are lawyers and doctors, guys that are cops, right? All these people, we all have the same issues. And I can identify with your story. We might not look the same, but everything you're saying, I know. And man, these guys dove on me and they put me in this thing called the fellowship. And for a guy like me at a time like that, it made my life change because I felt loved for the first time in my life. I felt like for the first time in my life, people didn't want anything back from me. They didn't expect anything in return. They just wanted me to not pick up a drink or a drug.
That's powerful.
It really is, man. And I would later marry that woman I was dating. I will tell you this much. That woman is the only reason I'm sitting here today. She didn't know me anything. We were dating 5 months. 3 of them I'm on the streets, but like she's trying to help me.
And the other 3 you're in treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
You know?
So you barely knew her.
And we get married. Quickly, I come to find out that this woman is struggling with alcoholism. And I didn't know it up until then. And her life's unmanageable. And I'm out on this journey of spirituality. And I'm working my recovery and my meetings. And I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Forget 90 and 90. I was like 290, right? And I'm not going to work yet. And I'm in meetings. And this is all I'm doing. And I start to get my life back together little by little. No custody of my daughter. I can't see her. All this craziness. When I do get to see her, it has to be supervised. It's nuts. Me and this woman come to find out that we couldn't have a child, which we were trying to. And during that fertility treatments, they discovered that she had cervical cancer.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
And what happened was that woman woke up from that surgery. She had to have a radical hysterectomy.
Oh, wow.
I was coming up on my 1-year sobriety when this happened. That woman hated me from that day on in ways that I can't even explain. She would drink all day, every day, count the ways I didn't love her. And I'm working and I'm trying to go to my meetings. And she just is, what do they say? Boiled like an owl by 10 a.m., right? And just hates me. And it's toxic. And domestic disputes are going on. And all this craziness centered around my life. And my brother, my oldest brother, he had went back out. He was in Maine, went back out, went to jail, came home from jail and needed some help. And he's living with my parents, and my wife starts driving him to work every day. She's helping, right? To put it mildly, my wife and brother, that same brother that I told you was my hero growing up, they had an inappropriate relationship. Man, two things that came from that. One was living with this woman that I loved and watching her do what she was doing and me not be able to do anything about it. It hit me. This is what I've done to everybody that loves me. And then second, I suffered from a pain from my wife and my brother that I could not even put into words. I'd never been hurt like that before.
That's tough, man.
It was. I left that marriage with dignity and grace. I helped that woman financially. I did everything I was. Shit, even after we were separated for over a year, I let her move into my house because she had nowhere to go. And I let her stay there probably longer. I don't recommend that to anybody either.
Sure.
But I was able to forgive her. And I was able to forgive my brother.
Good.
And my brother, because here they're two sick people, right? She's an alcoholic. He's shooting coke, right? They're supporting each other, right? You know, they're two sick people. And I wind up finding out that my brother went to rehab in Florida again. He needs some help. He's out in Florida. He winds up getting locked up, and he's calling me from jail. It's my brother, so I'm going to answer. But like, he's like, Michael, I love you. I'm like, Rob, I love you too, man. But like, we're just not cool right now, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you did something that's so painful. I can't, like, we're not like broing up right now.
Sure.
So one day, July 25th, 2022, I'm at work. My phone rings. It's my mom. I pick it up. Hey, Mom, how you doing? No, it's Robert. I said, yo, what are you doing? You were just in jail in Florida 2 days ago. Yeah, I got out. Mommy and Daddy flew me home. And I'm like, my stomach dropped. Just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because the chaos, right? Like
Sure.
the chaos around him. And like my parents, every time he needed help would be like, you have to help him and you have to bring him to meetings. I'm like, he don't want to go, right? Like
Right.
He's not, you know, like he's not ready to do the things that I'm doing.
Such a shame.
And he said, Michael, listen, man, can you please come over Mommy and Daddy's for dinner tonight? And I said, Rob, listen, I'm going to tell it to you like this. I'm not ready to be cool with you right now. I love you, but I'm not ready to have a relationship with you. You have to respect that. He said, listen, man, I'll never stop being sorry for what I did. You're my kid brother. I love you so much, Michael. He said, what can I do to fix our relationship? And I said, just like this, get 1 fucking year of sobriety. Find a day of the freedom that God and this program and this fellowship's afforded me.
Yep.
Your life will be so good. I said, take care of my niece that's about to graduate high school. Take care of my niece that needs her first car. Do it, man. I said, Rob, if you do that, our relationship will be better than it ever was. And he said, I'm going to. I said, Rob, don't ever forget this. I love you, bro. He said, Michael, I love you too. 18 minutes later, my phone rings. I pick it up and I hear a scream. I had waited for that fucking phone call for 30 years. And it was my mother telling me that my brother was dead. Fatal
20
fentanyl
minutes
over.
later.
And you literally just got off the phone with
minutes
them.
later. My mother will tell you that when she hung up the phone, he went up to her, he kissed her on her cheek and said, I love you, Mom. And he walked upstairs. My father heard a thump and he went in, and my brother was knelt down, looked like he was in a praying position, but really it was just for him like dropping to his knees and dying. And when I got there, they were taking him out in a body bag.
Oh, man.
You know, the fellowship that I'm in gave me that gift, guys. The last things that me and my brother ever spoke were, I love you.
Yeah.
Without it, I would have hit him with a fucking hammer.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right. And her too. Right. That's just the truth of it. But I learned to forgive. I learned to love. And I got to stand there with my parents. I planned the viewing. I helped financially. They didn't have the ability as parents to bury their son. It was so painstaking, but like they didn't have to worry about me, and they knew it. And at 40 years old, the day of that viewing, I watched my father cry for the first time. And it was the first time my dad ever told me he loved me.
Wow.
As a 40-year-old man, he looked at me and he said, Michael, I'm so proud of you. I'm so sorry, son. Maybe if I was a better father, you and your brothers wouldn't have turned out like this. And I said, listen, Dad, don't do that. I said, granted, you were an asshole, but you're a good man today.
Yeah.
And like, this isn't on you.
Right.
And he hugged me and he said, I love you, son.
What about your other brother?
He's sober, lives in Delaware. He's got like 3 years.
Good.
He went through some
He
difficulty.
went back out too, yeah.
He was like a guy that would like relapse like once every like 6 months, but like
One of
for a
them,
day,
yeah.
right? And
We
then,
call
like,
those guys from Northeast Philadelphia, where I'm from. I'm just kidding.
but here's the deal, man. Thank God my sister-in-law one day said, listen here, asshole, we're selling our house. We're moving to Delaware. And if you don't come, me and your son are gone. And like that changed my brother. Geographical change don't work for some people, but I think my brother, they have a beautiful home they had built there. He's thriving. He's not on Suboxone. He don't smoke weed. He's in the fellowship that I'm in. He worked the 12 steps, and he's a really good dad, and he's a really good brother. And we
He's
have a
doing all
wonderful
right.
relationship today. You know?
I'm sorry, I had to ask.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you did. And you know, one thing that I can tell you is when this whole thing happened, after my brother died, I remember I went through like some deep resentments. I struggled with it a lot because I felt like, yeah, had I went over there, would he have died? And I carried that for a little while, even though everybody told me it wasn't mine to carry.
Sure.
And I got over that. But I started doing this cool shit, right? I started like spending a lot of time by myself. See, at this point, I hadn't been in a relationship in a couple years, and I just like learned how to love myself. And I would do shit that like people would think was weird. I'd go to the beach by myself. I'd go down to the oceans. I don't gamble. I haven't gambled. I'm also sober from that.
Yeah, me
the
too.
Same amount of time that I have in sobriety from alcohol and drugs, same amount of time I don't have with gambling. And I would go to the oceans, get a room, take my fat ass out to dinner by myself.
That's all right.
And then go to like the pool the next day, go get a massage, and like this self-care, like just learning to love myself. And like God prepared me for a relationship that I would never have known was coming. And it happened almost 3 years ago. I met this wonderful woman, much younger than me. We had both come from like broken pasts, broken relationships. And it's the first time in my life that like another human being in a relationship made me feel like really loved for me. And it's the only healthy relationship I've ever been in my life. And I love this woman so much. We you know, I just asked her to marry me. Everybody's like, are you fucking nuts? You're getting married for a third time, you know?
Yeah,
And,
but it's different, dude.
It's different, right?
But you're a different person.
You know, a way different person.
Totally
And
different.
You remove that ego, man. You find out who you really
It's
are.
wild.
It's
It really is. It's
Like comes
such a-
back too,
It's such a
unfortunately.
gift, man. It is. And, you know, today I live like a really great life. You know, I don't.
You're still in those two kids. You still have your daughter.
Man,
Still
my-
with your.
let me go back real
Stepdaughter.
quick. My first ex-wife and me are like best friends.
That's
today.
cool.
Good.
When my life fell apart, I had gotten custody back from my daughter, and I remember making an amends to that woman, and I didn't know how to do it. And I just said
She
to
was
her,
your first amends.
Yeah. No. It was the first amends I had ever made to her. I couldn't bring myself to do it because I put her on my amends list, on my 8 and 9, but I didn't have the opportunity. I wasn't seeing her or my kid. So when I got custody back of my daughter, and I remember walking up to the front door one night and I said, Soph, go in the house. I need to talk to mommy. And I just looked at this woman and I said, I need you to know that I didn't treat you with the dignity and respect that you deserve during our relationship and after, and even up until now through the custody hearing. And for that, I'm sorry. She starts crying and said, Michael, you're a great guy. You're a great dad. Just don't use again. Like that's all she wanted me to do was not use. And like that woman was my absolute rock when I had nobody else. She fucking stood next to me at my brother's viewing because like I didn't have a wife there to hold my hand.
Yeah.
And she helped me through all of them difficult times and like made me feel as a friend. And she even said to me one day, if I ever made you feel less than because I turned my back on you, I just did not know how to handle it. Like, I'm really sorry. And her and my fiance are great friends.
That's
her,
cool.
her boyfriend and I are like buddies, man, like best friends, right?
That's cool.
And he's got 11 years. Go figure, right?
Oh,
good
yeah.
for him.
And
How
like
about that?
we all live a great life and have beautiful, beautiful blessings. And I still do all that shit, man. Like I'm in 4 or 5 meetings a week. I do H&I commitments.
Good for you, man.
I speak when I'm asked to, and I take men through the steps.
That's great work.
I know we're running out of time, but one of the funniest stories, I had taken guys through the steps. Everybody's doing like the 4th step fadeaway.
That's the worst.
It's so
I get so
heartbreaking.
many guys on their knees do the 3rd step prayer and then smell you
It's
later.
awful. And I
I'll
would
see
be
you later.
so mad. Like,
Four's
what am
too
I
hard.
doing wrong?
Bro.
You know?
4's too hard.
And this one day, this guy walks into that same beginners meeting and he raises his hand and said, "I'm an alcoholic. And it's my first meeting." And I walk over to him and I said, "Yo, brother, you need a big book? I'll grab you a big book. Here's my number. Let's talk after." Tell him to call me next day. He calls me the next day.
Yeah, that's big.
I invite him back to the next meeting. I invite him to this meeting. A couple weeks goes by. I find out a little bit about him. He's a state trooper. Comes up to me, he says, "Mike, I was kind of wondering, that awkward asking a guy out on the date."
The best.
Oh, yeah.
dude. Yeah.
I looked at him and I said, "Mark, are you going to ask me to sponsor you?" And he said, "Yeah, man, I really think that you can help me." And I start bursting out in laughter. And he said, "What's so funny, man?" And I said, "Dude, just life's a trip, man. If somebody told me," I was like 4 years sober at the time, 4 years ago, that a cop would be
Right.
asking me for advice.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the program, right? That guy's coming up on 5 years sober.
How about that?
A week before I turn 8 years sober, he turns 5 years sober. And I have a lot of sober sponsees.
That's pretty
I have a lot of
sweet.
guys that didn't make it, right?
Sure.
But what do they call them? The such unfortunates,
Yep.
right? The people who can't, find rigorous honesty, right?
Cannot
It's
or
It's
will
not their
not.
time yet.
cannot or will not, I'm a really blessed man, My
Yes, you
life
are.
is very, very good today. And it wouldn't be that way without the 12 steps of the program I'm in and the God of my understanding. And that's all there is to it.
That's right.
Dude,
Yeah,
that was
man.
a great story.
This is an incredible story, man.
You know our guest is strong, and me and Vinny don't have much to say. 'cause we're
Yeah,
just so
when
ready.
we
Thanks,
don't do a whole
guys.
lot of talking, that means you got a
Yeah.
great story, brother.
Thank you, guys.
It was so cool having you on.
Pleasure's all
Maybe
mine.
we'll have you on again for a
Sure.
topic down the road sometime.
Anytime, man.
But I really, really appreciate you coming on. Great story. You're going to touch a lot of people's hearts around
Thank
the
you,
world.
guys.
And I just want to leave with this is tenacious recovery, and you have to be tenacious about your recovery if you want to stay sober. You got to do something every day for your sobriety, and don't let the hard days win. You know what I mean? The hard days, nothing lasts forever. Don't let them win. And also, just as a reminder, don't forget to reach out to us from our website. You can go on our website and actually email us. Let us know what you think. Let us know, give us your feedback. And don't forget to follow us on all the socials. We're out there, Tenacious Recovery. And I just want to say thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank
My
you for
name's
coming,
Vinny.
Mike.
I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
I'm Sam. I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
Guys, God bless you, Mike, alcoholic and addict. What a gift.
Thanks, brother. And we will.